Welcome back to the workshop. It's Rusty Pearson with another Rusty production. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of outside work. I've got a whole bunch of these. These are quite heavy bluestone rocks, and we're going to be building a bit of a retaining wall to fix up an area of the property where it's becoming a little bit of a slope. Alright, so this is the area we're going to do. I've got to remove all this old sleeper. There's a few of these sleepers in here. You can see it's become just a sort of rubbish, dirty slope. And I'm going to put a sort of 2-level bluestone retaining wall just along here to become like a large step. But first of all, where I was just filming was down the back of the property. It's not that far, it's probably about 30 meters, 40 meters. But I've got to carry all of these all the way down the back. So that was a bit of hard work. I used a trolley for half of it, but half the way you can't come down, there's too many stairs. So anyway, there we are. Might need a couple more, there's a few more over there, but that should do for now. One of the things that I need to do is remove all the concrete from the existing wall, because while the wall's fallen down, that's why I'm reusing it, there's some concrete, tight, concrete still on these, and I'll knock that off with a hammer, clean them up a little bit, and then we can dig out this area and get started. Pulling one of those sleepers out, I came across something really interesting. I'll show you. It's like archaeology. You can see they're pavers, and if you have a look up, that's how far under the soil they are. So the soil's like there. That's a tree root that's grown over the top, and there's the pavers under there. So I don't know how old they are. They certainly weren't here when I got here, and I've been here for I think about 12 years. So there's layers upon layers of stuff under there, and I guess that was the edge of a retaining wall at some point. There's another sleeper there. Like a witchetty grub. A lot of people eat these here in Australia. I don't think that will be me today. The light's being a bit fun, so hopefully you can see this, but there's the rocks up here. I'm going to leave a gap for backfill behind here, set the wall up along here, and what I'll do is I'll get all these stones and stack them up here just to make sure I've got the right ones, and then get ready to put the drainage in, and then concrete. So I've got enough stones to do the two levels, but they're not all levels. So you can see this one's probably about 2 inches higher than the rest, maybe 3 once we get to there. So I've brought back a whole bunch of other stones, and I'm going to move them around a little bit and play a bit of jigsaw, see if we can get it right. I am sweating up a storm. It's like 30-something degrees Celsius out here today, which is pretty warm. And yeah, hot in the sun. Alright, you can see all the shadows are starting to get dark, so I'm going to probably pick this up tomorrow, which is shorthand for I am absolutely buggered. But those rocks seem to be in place, and I'll get the concrete mix up and then the drainage in tomorrow, and I'll just quickly show you what I'm going to do with the drainage. So I've got these PVC pipes, which I'm going to run in the backfill behind the wall. And there'll probably be 1 or 2 of them that actually go along with a whole bunch of pebbly type rock underneath. So basically when the water comes down through the soil, it doesn't build up behind the wall, but actually comes down, touches the ground, comes back up into the pipe, because there's going to be a number of holes that I'm going to drill through here, and then it's going to travel along out into the drain. That's the theory anyway. I've never done this before, but we'll see how we go in the morning. So it's the next day, and I've got my pipe. I'm going to be putting holes all the way along here, and the idea is that when I put this in the backfill for the drainage, we want the water to run along that central sort of apex, I guess, of the circle, and so the water needs to come in from either side here. So we'll be putting a hole this side and that side, so that it comes up and then sort of runs along that bottom edge. Well, that's the idea anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to be pretty rough and ready with the holes that I drill in there, to try and make them large enough that they're going to be able to allow the water to get in. So they're pretty rough, but you get the basic idea. They'll sit, basically like that on the ground. They'll allow the water to come up through here and then run all the way down along the pipe. Let's install them in the ground. So I've got this bag of gravel we're going to use to create a base for the drain. We'll use some of it on the bottom, and then we'll cover it over the top of it as well to allow the water to come through. Okay, we get our pipe with the holes in it. It's like a French design where the holes go to the bottom, allows the water to come through the gravel, float up through the top, float up through the holes, and then actually go into the pipe and then travel along. So the only thing I've got to do is I've just got to fix up the end here, so it's going to be level or slightly sloping down this way, so it allows the water to run. So I'll come back when I've done that. Just going to check what's my level. Yep. Basically, I don't want it to be sloping up, so if the bubble's back, I'm okay. Just put the rest of the aggregate over the top of it, and I've also got like a whole bunch of this concrete that I'm smashing up, just some leftover stuff that can go in as just loose stone as well, which I'll put over the top of it, and then I'll come back and we won't put the soil over now, but actually what I might do is we need to concrete these pieces in first before I go putting that over the top. So got some loose stone in there, but I won't go putting any more up until I've done the concrete. So let's do that first, and then I'll come back to this. I said it before, but I've got a whole bunch of this sort of old pieces of concrete and stuff that I'm going to use as the equivalent of some extra gravel to put in there, which means I get to smash it with a hammer, which I don't think makes this blacksmithing, but any excuse to use a hammer is appreciated. So enjoy. So I'm going to wait for this to dry just a little bit more. Then I'm going to just add a little bit more crushed rock in here, put the topsoil over the top of that, and we'll call that done. One of the things I'm going to do once this dries off a little bit is get a sponge and some water and get rid of any of the excess concrete that I don't need. Now, you might be wondering why I'm so tired for just doing this tiny little wall. I guess it is hard enough on its own, but let me show you. This is another one that I've done earlier. So here's the other wall that I did yesterday as well, before I started filming, and you can see there's a lot of concrete sort of excess all on the outside there where it's dried off. Now it's got pretty dry. I probably should have done this sooner, but I'm going to use that sponge and that water to clean that excess concrete off. So I'll get started and then we'll finish up. So you can see on the edge of the stone here, there's that concrete. And I'll just get the sponge and get in there and really get that off. I should have done this a little bit earlier because the concrete's really dried. It's been nearly 24 hours on this one. So I'll do the second one a lot earlier, just to get off as much concrete on the actual rock itself and expose that as much as possible. But you get the idea. You can see how that's starting to clean up. You can see the edge of the rock a bit better. So I'll do the important parts on this. I won't do too much of it, just to give it a better look so it doesn't look all grey. And then we'll call it quits. I'll show you the whole completed job. All right, here's the what I'll call the bottom wall. That's the one that I did mainly today. It's looking pretty good. It's starting to dry, and then I'll just finalise the cleanup on that. If you look up there, you can see a hell of a mess, but you'll also see the second wall. That's the one I did yesterday. And over here we've got a bit of a garden. So it's been a rocks weekend. Lots of rocks, lots of moving of rocks, carrying of rocks and dropping of rocks. But a bit of landscaping that's starting to come together, and while it probably doesn't look the best, it certainly doesn't look like a professional job. I'm pretty happy with the result. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Not blacksmithing this week, but a bit of handiwork that I've never done before, so we're still learning. I've got my 40th this week. Don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not, but I'm basically busy sort of fixing up the house. That's what I've been doing this week, so which is why I haven't had a lot of chance to be on the forge. But coming into Christmas, I've got some time off, and I'm looking forward to getting in there and having a bit more fun. So if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more of these videos of a novice handyman in general, and ideally a novice blacksmith, subscribe, and I'll send you more videos over the coming weeks. I'll try and get one out every single week, which is the aim, and something I've been accomplishing for the last few months, which is great. Until then, thanks so much for watching.